Hey, what's up? This is Chosen, and this video is going to be a first-person view of a rank 1 clear. And for this video, I'm going to be joined by UNTAMEDGIRTH, who we see here as the rank 1 Demon Hunter on Seasonal Hardcore for Americas. So I'm going to be kind of playing his first-person view as he gets rank 1, and then he's going to be joining me so that I can kind of ask him questions and he can kind of walk us through what he's thinking and why he's doing what he's doing. And I'm also going to have him kind of discuss the build and all that. So without further ado, let's jump into the part where I'm joined by UNTAMEDGIRTH. Alrighty, and now I'm joined by UNTAMEDGIRTH. So go ahead and introduce yourself, man.
Hey, how's it going, everyone? Yeah, I'm UNTAMEDGIRTH, obviously. Right now I've been playing hardcore seasonal Demon Hunter for Season 15.
Sorry, you cut out there for a second, I think.
Oh, did I? Yeah, I was just saying, playing hardcore seasonal Demon Hunter Season 15.
Oh, cool. Okay. And just took rank 1 today, right?
I believe it was last night. Yeah, but really recent.
Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah, so 110, and what do you think you could end the season at?
I think I got damage for possibly 113, 114, but it's going to be definitely pushing the limits of things. Like, my build is really strong, my gear is really strong, but yeah, like Paragon does come into it.
Mm-hmm. And just go ahead and walk me through kind of your build choice. I know some people on Demon Hunter choose like the physical multi-shot, and you're obviously not doing that.
Yeah, so, I mean, multiple things came into it. I usually do some things that some players don't do, like I scout the other servers and stuff a little bit, and I go to the Chinese forums as well. And, like, right now, a popular build actually has been, like, the N6 M4 Fire, which I have been using, and, like, I kind of tweaked it to my own specification. It was, like, a little bit of, like, playing around with things and, like, figuring out what was best for me, and like the gear kind of changes like depending on what you get, but yeah, it's a really strong build, like the fire build right now, and I thought it'd be fun and probably the most damage like out of most of the builds. Multi-shot's pretty good too, but this one's definitely up there right now.
Okay, and then your legendary gem choices, is there any wiggle room there, or is that kind of like the 3 you have to use?
There pretty much isn't any wiggle room for it. Like, you definitely need the Enforcer because it's a pet build, so the sentries act as pets. The Trapped is just like, obviously everyone knows it goes in any build if you play Diablo. It's just the best damage gem in the game. And Zaze is just like the logical choice because there's not really too many other options, you know, unfortunately. Like, you could go with like Stricken, but it probably won't net you as much damage, and you can't really stack it as fast for this build because it's more of a slow build. And like Powerful, you're not really killing elites consistently enough, I would say, on high levels for it to be worth it. So yeah, you're pretty locked into those 3.
Okay, cool. Well, let's start. Do you have the video pulled up?
Yep.
Let's all right, you ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1, go. Alrighty, so now you're kind of diving into the rift here. Just kind of walk me through what you're thinking initially.
Alright, so initially I zoned in, and first thing I'm thinking is like, oh, okay, well, Festering, obviously that's what you want. It's looking great. I looked like I wasn't sure about the layout when it first came in, and then I quickly kind of realized it wasn't the greatest layout, but the mob types were just amazing. Like, Ice Clan is definitely one of the better mob types in the game, and like some people I don't think necessarily know that. They're just like low HP mobs, and they die like extremely fast and give decent progress, and they group up decently well too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this is kind of generally thought of to be like the best map, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a couple variations in Festering Woods. There's one that's most popular called like Four Corner that everyone looks for, and the reason why it's the best is just because you get those corners and intersections, so you can basically like kite things together from like multiple directions. Whereas like if you're looking at this map that we're looking at right now, everything's kind of on a straight line, so it's almost like a sewer, but because it's a Festering Woods, like the density of mobs on the map is just higher, so that's why it's still good.
Okay, and walk me through kind of your build rotation for those who are kind of new to DH.
Okay, so basically, like for this build, it's completely sentry based build. So you're wanting to like make sure your sentries are always at 5. You can see on the count on the screen there, it's always at 5. You lose damage when your turrets drop, so I'm constantly refreshing my turrets. And then like a little bit of strategy comes into play, like using the polar rune on sentries. So you're kind of wanting to place them so that mobs will be in them, like while they're walking through them, so they get slowed, and then that procs your Bane of the Traps for extra damage.
Yeah, because it's a fire build, but you use the cold sentry because it's going to proc that Bane of the Trapped.
Yeah, exactly. And then like the flying strike that I'm using is just to like freeze the mobs, and it's a little bit of like survivability slash actually it gives you the ability to get Zay's range as well, because you can freeze them and kind of vault backwards or like walk backwards and try and get like steady aim range and Zay's range for more damage as well.
Yep, and you want to kind of, when you're fighting an elite, you kind of want to make sure and stand still to get that 100 buff of the set.
Yeah, it's definitely important to try once you have everything pulled together. You're kind of going to want to use your endless walk buff as much as you can. Like, it's good if you're making a hot pull, like to be walking around and trying to get it like for defensive. But then like when you see like I finally get the pull I want, I just kind of like stand still. I pick a spot and I try to stand still and then just like nuke as much as I can. But I'm trying to get Zay's range normally, so there is still a lot of moving sometimes.
And does the Zay's range, is that from your turret or from where you're standing?
I believe it's from where you're standing. It should be from where you're standing. I think it used to be from your turrets, and I think they changed it a while ago, and it's supposed to be from where you're standing. Not 100 on it, but I'm pretty sure. So I usually kind of mix my turrets, like a couple behind and a couple in.
Yeah, if I remember right, they changed that like back when people were doing trials.
Yeah, I think it was like a long time ago. So it should be from you to the mob type, not from the sentry to the mob.
And I noticed you waited to take that pylon like a minute ago. You were kind of waiting to get the pull you wanted.
Yeah, so what happened there, like just before I had a couple of elites pulled. There was about 2 elites or 1 or 2, and the pylon was coming up, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'm like, it's power. You kind of want to save power for boss a lot of the time, but looking at it, I'm like, man, I got already like 2 elites on me. It's kind of hot. If I can kill them, it's probably gonna be more worth it than saving it for the boss. And then I ended up running into like 2 more elites, and I'm just like, yeah, I gotta blow these away with power because it's gonna give me a crazy lead. So I killed them all, like 4 elites with power.
Man, that's a dream right there on the left side of the screen.
Yeah, it's just super dense. Like I was saying, Ice Clan's just so good because it's just so dense, and like it's great for area damage, and it just helps everything get nuked down so fast. And they kite like really fast, as you can see.
How risky is this on hardcore? Like,
yeah, I'd say medium risk compared to some things. Like Shadow may feel tankier and everything, but it actually has a lot of toughness if you're using the setup that I'm using with the Garwolf. Like, I think it gets upward of like 800 to 900 million toughness sometimes, maybe even near like I believe. Like it's pretty crazy. Like when you're getting your endless walk up and you're keeping your buffs up, like it's pretty nuts. So that's what allows you to make like those big pulls. It's still really dangerous. You can't take a lot of damage, but if you're fast with the reflexes and the skills, like you should be able to get out of harm's way, like and still take like 2 or 3 hits from some things, and maintain pulls.
So when you're doing this, what's your odds of clearing a 110? Like, do you have to try 50 times, 20 times?
Yeah, I mean, so I'm 2200 Paragon, but my gear is really good, like I said. On average, like, for this Paragon, depending on the player, I would say, maybe 50 to 100 keys, maybe 200 max, but yeah, I'd definitely be in that 100 to 200 key range. But like I pulled a really great map. Unfortunately, I pulled the conduit there, as you can see, like at the beginning of the map, so it was really bad. But I already have such a high lead at this point that I just took it, and I figured.
Yeah, this level is not usually that great.
No, it's terrible, but I took it because I'm like, oh, I got it at the beginning of the map. I just got to take. Let's go, kind of thing, and then I'll get as much as I can. And sure enough, I vaulted and found that elite. So it was good enough, I guess, and I had enough of a lead that I'm just like, whatever. At this point, you can see I've got a massive lead coming into boss, so I figured it'd be all right.
Yeah, that's like an insane lead on the... like, pushing for rank 1, you never see that type of a lead on the timer.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's how you know, like, I mean, really, it was an okay rift. Like, it looks like a crazy rift, obviously, from the time looking at it right now, but, like, the layout could have been better. My power pylon was really, really good, but that conduit sucked, right? So if I got a good conduit, like if it lined up differently, like say I'd got the conduit where the power was and the power where the conduit was, this could have been like an 11-minute rift. It was, I think it ended up being 13 in the end, just because the boss does take some time to kill. But yeah, it was pretty nuts though. But that's how crazy it is the fact that it could have been that much better, you know?
Yeah, the level 2 wasn't that great, but decent mobs, right?
Yeah, like these mobs are okay. They're, I think it's the white spider with goats, which kind of give okay progress. So I was like, you know what, the map might be bad, but these mobs are like pretty okay progress.
Spear chuckers are kind of rough though, aren't they?
A little bit, but that's what I was saying. Like this build, it just has decent toughness, so it doesn't feel too bad, honestly. Like I even tried some Moon Clan, just to see how it was, and I was actually like keeping time on them too in 111s just the other day. So like it's surprising like how durable this build is. Like I was playing Cold before, which you can see is like a really popular build in hardcore, and I actually think it's less damage just because you can get you don't get as big of pulls because you have less toughness, and I think their damage potential is about the same just because you do get the steady aim buff, which is multiplicative on fire as well. So.
And is there any RG here that would cause you to like give up on the rift?
No, probably not. There are a couple RGs that are definitely worse. Cold Snap can be extremely dangerous because you don't have CC immunity. And so, you know, when he enrages and stuff and he tosses out all the freezes, it becomes extremely difficult. And Perdition's also kind of a pain because, you know, when he does that up-down charge and he can one-shot you, you have to be pretty quick on the vault and you have to time it perfectly. Otherwise, he's going to proc you and possibly kill you pretty quick, you know? Mm-hmm. So I kind of like to fight bosses like that near the door, but you can see I pulled Raziel here, and as soon as I saw him, I'm like, I got this. Like, this is over. He's a single target boss. It's just really good. His hitbox might not be as big, so it's not as good as some bosses maybe, but it's still really good. And as you can see, he got trapped in the corner there with my pets, and I'm just like, you know, unloading on him.
And a lot of people might not understand what you mean by the hitbox being important for the RG.
Yeah, so mob types and bosses are a little bit different. Like they have different size hitboxes, so like they're important for things like area damage and also stuff like targeting. It just makes them easier to target, so it's easier to hit. Mm-hmm. And that one has like a little bit of a lower hitbox, where versus like something like Stone Slinger would have a really large hitbox just because he's like a big boss.
Mm-hmm. So what are the RGs you're hoping for?
That one was a pretty good one. I would say Binder would be an extremely good one because he does toss out a couple ads too. You might get an Oculus. Generally, you don't want ones with a ton of ads as well. So like things like Iscandiel can be a little bit bad because the turrets can end up targeting them and things like that. Butcher can be kind of a pain in the butt sometimes because he does walls and everything. Basically, things like Binder, Raziel, like easy single target bosses. Even what's that one? The Bone Warlock guy is okay. He only tosses out a couple ads. Anything single target's usually okay that doesn't have bad enrages, you know. Cool.
Okay. Any other general tips you'd want to give for DH or anything kind of... I like to keep these kind of around 15 minutes. I don't want to take too much of your time, but
yeah.
But by all means, if there's anything else you wanted to say about the Rift or about the Clear or about the build or any tips, like...
Basically, you know, if you're looking to try out the build, you can obviously check out my gear and set up straight on the leaderboard. It's rank 1 right now, may not be. There's still a couple days left in the season. I do some videos as well. There's some good build guides out there. There's other people that do decent ones for the fire ones. But more than anything, I would say just like you have to experiment with them yourself, like, and change roles accordingly. Like, a lot of people get in the mindset of like, hey, this is what's the best roles for this. I'm actually like tweaking my gear all the time depending on my riff. Like, sometimes I feel like I need more area damage, sometimes I need more resource generation for the build. Like, it varies like quite a bit. So there's actually a lot to learn on it and a lot of variants that you can change the build up.
And before I let you go, where can people find you? Like, do you stream or anything? Or
yeah, I just started streaming a few months ago. You can find me on twitch.tv/UNTAMEDGIRTH. I do have links to YouTube for helpful build guides for the N6 M4 build that I use. There's some Diablo fans links on there and a lot of good things, like goodies. I just like to try and put some helpful things out on there. So yeah, I do stream and a little bit of YouTube and everything as well.
All right, awesome. Well, thanks for joining me, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, not a problem, man. Appreciate you taking the time to make the video and everything. It was pretty cool. It was fun.
Yeah, for sure. All right, take it easy, man.
All right, take it easy.
Yeah, we'll see ya. Alrighty, that's going to do it for the video. Big shout out to UNTAMEDGIRTH for joining me and taking the time to do this video with me. So check down in the video description. I will have links to all of his YouTube and Twitch and stuff. He's a great player and a good guy, so definitely check him out. But yeah, as always, if you have any questions or anything, drop it down in the comments. I'll do my best to help you out. And have a good rest of your day. Peace.